Jeg sitter rett ut ved utgangen. Ja.
Divisions. You can get rid of them.
The seating dark as
And that part of Victoria that we went to.
Learn something about it.
Yes. Yes. Cool.
go into the little greenhouses or something. Like, you want photography movies and stuff.
Do you like that?
I probably have a few photos saved.
We'll have to go back this way.
go round, if you go round the corner, mind someone behind you.
Oh, yeah. Chilling.
Sorry.
Peru. It's from Peru.
From Peru, is it?
Round the corner.
Okay.
Round the corner we go. That is interesting. These little things. Oh, wow. Oh, yes, quite Peru. Quite right.
They could come here and do some sort of science fiction film, couldn't they? The Triffids are out to get you. Yeah.
Ah, justo dice eso.
Sí.
Es cierto.
Wow.
And then afterwards we found there was an orchid garden.
Yes.
Oh, orchid garden was wonderful. That had been there as an English family and they'd been there for 200 years. And they had this lovely house and a garden with all these orchids. And people went there.
table.